This is Bottoms of the Barrel. This is a pre-recorded show on Wednesday, January 25th, 2017. I am your host, Thomas Bottoms, and this is our 1-year anniversary. Yay! And I am joined in the studio with my tech man, the man who's been there since the beginning, the man who knows this show and its host inside and out, Mikey Chip.
Ahoy, hoy.
And I am joined by a man who is a partner in crime for Ether Obscuria, doing his, I think this is your first appearance on Bottoms of the Barrel.
Yes, it is.
And we don't have a stage name for you, do we? Dan.
There you go.
We have Dan. Yay! And I am joined again, this time visually, as you can see at home, with Mike W.
Hello, everyone.
And no, we are not the Trump Aryan youth. We're actually going to speak very badly about that man.
Most of the words start with the letter F and sound like puck.
But I'm sure they'll all be bleeped out.
Oh, of course. We'll try not to curse. This is a family program, and we use family very loosely, which, since Trump's inauguration, the LGBTQYNZ page has been removed from the White House.
Along with climate change.
Yeah.
And civil rights.
Oh, yeah.
And some other stuff.
Now, is this good that as a gay male, I am now invisible to the people in the White House, that they no longer care about me? Or is it we have removed you from our website, we will soon remove you from the earth?
I'm going to go with option 2.
Option number 2. Any input, Dan?
He's too busy working on his ugly hair to worry about you.
You know, I do feel a bit that even though as bald-headed, I'd rather be bald-headed than have really bad Donald Trump hair.
I just can't believe he does that on purpose.
He's had it for, what, 30 years now? 35?
Something like that.
Years. Like, any picture you see of him that's like an old picture, he's got the same hair. It might be a little lighter now.
You know, and it's kind of interesting that he's not embraced the gay brethren, because another celebrity who's had the same hair since forever, Richard Simmons, is now a proud open gay man. And unlike the Donald, the Trumpster, that when Hurricane Katrina really ravished New Orleans, Richard Simmons did go down in his little short shorts and tank top. I think they were purple that day, and he ran through the wreckage just crying.
I bet he went
with
down.
His little afro. And I felt bad because, I like New Orleans. It was horrible. They were destroyed by Hurricane Katrina, but Richard Simmons in gym gear running through a devastation is a bit awkward to behold.
That's almost as bad as Katrina.
No.
New Orleans bounced back from Katrina. There's no bouncing back from Richard Simmons.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Do you even know who Richard Simmons
is?
I do. Okay. Because there is some age difference here. I know we've got our golden years, our prime time, and our youth. So we have to be a little bit concerning, a little bit.
Guess prime time means it's way older than the golden years.
Okay, we have dead air here.
Let me practice my Michelle Obama looking at the Trumps. And for those who don't know at home, just Google it. Those pictures of Michelle Obama is just
Michelle Obama side eye.
She gave side eye. She was like Miss Ross level side eye there of I'm just sitting here judging you. But the Donald has also come forward, and he's going to. When people thought he's going to build a wall to block Mexico, they thought, I guess, figurative, and he's doing the literal. He wants to build the wall. He is meeting with the Mexican president tomorrow.
No, Mexico said no, we're not.
Oh, they're not meeting with him.
The problem is most of the property that they need is privately owned. It's not government owned. So they have to seize thousands of people's property to do this.
On the Mexican side.
On the U.S. side.
On the U.S. side.
No, they have to seize
Wow.
American citizens' property. That's going to go over well with people in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, the Donald says he's going to get Mexico to pay for the wall, but considering how he pays for services in the past, I'm certain a Mexican will end up having to pay for something, doing free labor or something. I'm certain that will occur.
I think it's absolutely absurd that he's actually going to try and go through with it, though.
Has relations gotten better or worse with Mexico in there?
They're actually going to pull out of NAFTA before we get rid of NAFTA, so worse.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just been an insane week so far. I've never seen anything. Things are deteriorating. I mean, I don't even know.
At rapid speed.
Deteriorating. I mean, things are just going crazy.
So a joke on Facebook. First they came for the Latinos and the Muslims and the gays and the poor and the women, and then it was Wednesday.
It really is, and that's interesting that they own the land, because one of the first things this Trump regime, and we're going to call it a regime until, well, he introduced the word Nazi. Trump already introduced the word Nazi in his regime. He just didn't think that when you were pointing one finger at everybody else, everyone was like, no, you're pointing four fingers at yourself, Adolf. We all know kind of what's going on here. But he wants to stop the press. He's openly stated CNN is lies. People are not to discuss anything with the press. And his woman, that not Melania, the other white woman,
Kellyanne Conway.
Yes, she has now introduced the term alternative facts.
It actually gets worse. He just today announced he's deciding who's covering the White House. Which reporters are covering the White House?
Yes. So I wonder when the media is going to start actually calling us what this is: fascism. We could say it in a couple of different languages: fascisten. I don't know how to say it in Italian anymore, but yeah, if we have any German or Italian listeners, let the American media know how to pronounce fascism.
Oh yes, and as I need to, and I'll probably say this until he gets impeached or assassinated, terrorist, and no one's going to cry over your death, Donald, including your abused wife. Prove us wrong.
You know, the vice president is probably just as equally as bad.
And that's the problem we run into, is like the Donald doesn't know what he's doing, but he's in power, versus Pence, who would know what he is doing.
And he can be controlled. Trump cannot be controlled.
Yeah, Pence can be controlled to some extent. I don't really know how much. Donald can't be controlled. Excuse me, the comb over Caligula.
Oh gosh, but Caligula at least liked his sister, and she was in the age of consent, versus
He
wanting
likes
to bang his own
daughter.
daughter. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Was that King Midas? I don't.
That's wrong on so many levels. Yeah.
And let's see. As we all know, the Republicans got together to take away health care from 20 million Americans. And while that is only like 0.05% of the population, if we are to believe there's 360 million people in the United States, when you start getting 20 million, you're getting entire regions, entire states.
You have people on the show right now, myself, who have to worry about that, as I have pre-existing conditions and don't have insurance through work. So, hey, yay. I get to deal with this fully.
Oh, goodness. What other stupidity did he do today?
Yeah, I know, it's today.
It's just today. Like you said, it's just Wednesday.
Just today alone.
I think he's going to try to start torture again.
Oh, yeah,
yes. He's going to allow torture for information and open up the black prisons.
Black sites. Though his Department of Defense and CIA director both have unequivocally said that neither of those things can happen, and his defense secretary is actually the only one who actually knows what he's doing.
Oh.
So there's also the military. You know, the weird thing. I'm like, coup. A coup could happen, and I don't think I would be upset right now.
Well, as I said, that with Donald Trump as a president, all the buildings that he owns, the Trump buildings, are actually terrorist markers, that they may be bombed by ISIS, if you will. And I'm kind of okay with that. I straight up am okay with that. I'll go on record for that. Because as long as they don't take the Sears Tower, I would even call it the Willis Tower now. Take Trump Tower, downtown Chicago.
I appreciate that.
We'll call it the Willis Tower. Yes. And we're going to take a little musical break right now and continue on with our anniversary. And you are listening to Bottoms of the Barrel. It is a pre-recorded show. We're recording on Wednesday, January 25th. I like how I keep saying we're pre-recorded because this is one of the first times in a long time where I do think something bad may happen before this airs on Saturday. And yes, if Trump falls down the stairs and breaks his neck and takes his children with him, I will not be crying. You will not guilt me over this.
Or he'll send troops into Chicago to kill a bunch of people.
Exactly. That is, I'm joined with Mikey Chip. We have Dan from Ether Obscuria, and Mike W, partner in crime, if you will. He's here to add some sexiness and some glamour, and he brought the crew. Honey.
Bring the crew.
I won't lie. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, is that Tiffany? But no, that is like, yeah, like sexuality and hair was vastly different in the
four
80s.
faces of Tiffany.
Oh, that does look like Tiffany.
It does.
Oh,
I think we're alone now.
All four of us.
But see, my original hope when Trump said that Chicago's so bad that you walk down the street and you get shot, I was like, well, with the passage of gay marriage, I might get shot walking down the street in Chicago, but I'm not going to get gay bashed. But we have just become invisible, so we'll see how long that lasts. And I think, isn't it Texas who's looking to repeal the Freedom of Marriage Act?
No, they're just trying to make it so, because they can't do it, it's a federal law, so that they don't have to give accommodation. Okay. So they're not repealing it. They just don't have to honor it. But they're not saying that it's not legal. They just don't. Yeah, it's convoluted.
I don't understand.
Neither do the Republicans in Texas, but you know,
okay.
They hate us.
No.
Name something they do understand.
Money.
Money.
Their money.
How can my pockets get fatter, and how can I manipulate the stupid?
I'd say the Bible, but no, they pretty much get all that wrong.
They manipulate that.
So does the church. That's something he did actually. Is Trump has stopped anyone from a Muslim-based country to have access to immigrate to the United States, and this country was founded off of freedom of religion because people in England were upset that the king kept changing the country's religion every time he banged somebody, and so they wanted to come to the U.S. and kill the Native Americans and have their own freedom of religion, only to now realize that, well, that looks like that's maybe taken away. And when we talk about like prayer in school, I do like the one that shows the cat in the glasses going, when we talk about prayer in school, which religion are we allowing here? Is it just yours or all religions? And it's scary. It's really, really scary. And one of the things Trump said today is that he was going to send troops to Chicago to fix us. Because how many shootings do we have, and how many succeeded in murders last year?
There are 742 gun murders.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah,
we average a little bit more than 2 a day. It happens.
It's actually better than the 90s. it was in the low thousands in the early 90s.
Wow.
So
that's
a
lot.
Went really down and then came back up. But yeah.
See, I wondered if this is just a bit of like that 90s culture coming back that you see a lot of those. Oh, I love those 90s movies, and oh, I love the 90s music. And I was there, and it's like, there were some good parts, don't get me wrong, but there was also some bad, some really bad, like from Hootie and the Blowfish to... Gosh, I really don't know. In the 90s, and it's like, if you stopped listening to the radio, your life was good. Your life was like, I could upsell Aaliyah and Missy Elliott. I have a soft spot for Spice Girls. Those boy bands, I'm glad Justin Timberlake is still with us. But yeah, the rise of the boy bands. Do we really...
I just keep thinking of Hootie and the Blowfish. You said a blast from the past, and I'm just like, oh my god.
I remember The Onion did a good article about Hootie and the Blowfish and how they were uniting white pussies and black pussies.
I hated them so much. And them and the Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, jeez.
Lord have mercy.
Is that before we were recorded today? I was listening to our alternative 1990 because our music is from right around the 88 to 90 period today, and I'm thinking about the things they're talking about in like songs and the problems, and they seem so quaint now. They seem just so quaint.
Well, the world, as I've said before, the world kind of shifted when Donald Trump got elected president, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, in the past, I've disliked presidents. I'm not going to vote Republican. I'm not going to vote for a party that in 2004 said we have to protect the sanctity of marriage and used gay men as an issue that really just doesn't exist. If I can ruin your marriage, which... by the way, I never have, considering how many married men I've been with. I didn't ruin that marriage. They got divorced willingly. And so I always wondered about that, and I hated being made an issue. And while I didn't like George W. Bush, I didn't like Bush Sr., I had a lot of issues with Reagan.
You don't like Bush.
I don't like Bush. I just don't. I mean, the whole world didn't like Bush. We know what happened to pubic hair in the O's, don't we?
Yeah.
Just now they're finally coming back. Maybe it's coming back because you want to have your private areas match the Donald.
No.
What?
Dear God.
What? Have a comb over down there?
Maybe a merkin.
No.
But so yeah, the Donald is saying he's going to send troops to Chicago, and as Mikey Chip has pointed out earlier, is that the military just can't invade cities because the president said seize them, and he doesn't even know which section of the military it's going to be, which would actually be the National Guard, because they're the ones who's supposed to protect the home country as other military goes out. And the National Guard, since September 11th, really haven't had many attacks on U.S. soil. And before that, I think it was Pearl Harbor. Don't quote me on it. Oklahoma City bombing. But that was
homegrown.
Yeah, that was a homegrown.
93, the World Trade Center.
Well, technically, the National Guards are controlled by the governors of the state. They can be nationalized, but in times of a state of emergency. Now, mind you, I wouldn't leave it all to Trump to not declare a state of emergency and take the National Guard, control of the National Guard.
No.
But at the same time, he's giving orders to commanders who might call that unlawful, which means that they might try to come up with their own National Guard, in quotation marks. There's a German word for it, Einsatzgruppen.
Now, usually these things start with like a white woman dying. Do we have any like white celebrities in Chicago right now that can get killed off, and thus
they don't care about that.
They don't care.
They don't care about that.
What we have to remember is when Mikey Chip and I were in Berlin, just a few blocks away from the Holocaust Memorial.
One block.
Wow.
Definitely go see it. It will make you feel depressed for a while, but definitely go see it. And it was while we were visiting that when Trump did his rally here in Chicago, and some of the members of Q4, shout out to Bill Turk, who got me this job, and he was one of those who went to the Trump rally and got kicked out. Chicago kicked your ass, Donald Trump. You couldn't talk to us. Now you're going to send the military after us.
Sad baby. Loser.
And
just a big bully.
And so he's now going to get the military to come after Chicago. And I don't want to be mean, but Chicago may not be as rough as Detroit, but we do have children here, and we know how to make Molotov cocktails. You're not going to take us down.
I will also say, unlike Poland in the 1940s, Americans are armed to the teeth.
We is armed. Who here has practiced their Second Amendment right? Okay, no one raised hands for anyone who's listening at home. But, we need to fix that.
But I think if there was some kind of there might be some resistance forming pretty quickly. But we're short of time right now.
We're going to take a musical break, and we're going to discuss if we can make it after all upon the return. You are listening to Bottoms of the Barrel. It is Wednesday, January 25th. This is a pre-recorded show. You are listening to this on Saturday, the 28th, and we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of Bottoms of the Barrel. I am your host, Thomas Bottoms. I am joined in the studio today with my tech man, Mikey Chip.
Woo!
And we're not being racist. He just doesn't want to be here on camera, in case you want to check us out on YouTube. And you can also email us at show@bottomsofthebarrel.
Plus, somebody has to do all this stuff to get you on YouTube. So
Someone has to.
Someone's got to work the camera.
Someone has to hit all the right buttons so we can get a good show.
Get that money shot.
I'm joined in the studio. That was Mike W. Who, for those who are watching us, he is drinking from a hot girl cup, while I am drinking from a Supergirl, the hot pants and blouse outfit from the 70s. And our other guest from Ether Obscuria, Dan.
Hello.
He is drinking from Black Canary, but he ain't singing like no canary, is ya?
No, not today. Maybe tomorrow.
No. Now, you do like to sing. We're going to be playing some Leonard Cohen at some point in our show. And I can't lie. You sing as good as Leonard Cohen.
You're joking. Were you drunk at the time?
Well, I think being drunk helps the whole Leonard Cohen effect.
I was going to say, I don't recall I was drunk.
Everybody knows that. Yeah, I respect Leonard Cohen, and we played Everybody Knows. It's the Concrete Blonde soulful pop version because I'm more of a pop boy. And
am I a horrible person for not knowing who he is?
No.
Yes.
The yeses have it.
Just say hallelujah whenever they say Leonard Cohen, and everyone will smile and nod.
Oh my gosh, Leonard Cohen. Yeah,
he's the one who's
him.
Hallelujah. It's like
hallelujah. Oh my gosh,
that would be the wrong hallelujah, but thanks for trying.
That was my jam.
Yeah, that hallelujah is 300 years old. From 1758.
But
hallelujah,
he did it best.
We're getting Leonard Cohen wrong. He actually died before the president Donald Trump got elected, and we were coming back from Amsterdam November 9th, and no, we didn't want to come back. No. And I was seeking Everybody Knows on the train, and this woman was like, "Oh, you're a Leonard Cohen fan? I'm from Montreal. Leonard's from Montreal." And we talked very briefly, and we did not know he had died because that was released, I think, on Thursday or Friday that week, which would have been the 10th or the 11th. And
they only wanted to give terrible news just a little at the time. They needed people to adjust to Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, it was also 2016.
I mean, that's bad enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Janet Reno died, I think, on the 6th or the 7th. Like, she died before the election. It was really like creepy. We had a lot of deaths. Anyway, and speaking about deaths, we were hoping she was going to make it after all, but this Trump stuff. is this Trump error, as it were, a little slur, if you will. I got bleeped. I can't believe it. This is how he's going to curb my free speech. Some bald gay man said the S word on a free speech station, and he's going to have to condemn free speech because one of his sons was ruined by something I said.
Ruined.
But Mary Tyler Moore passed away today at the age of 80.
I heard that while I was doing laundry today. I was quite shocked.
Did you throw a pair of your panties up in the air?
I almost dropped my laundry detergent.
Oddly, and this is kind of an odd thing to say, I don't have a love of Mary Tyler Moore. Like, I didn't watch Dick Van Dyke, because usually it was a choice of Dick Van Dyke or I Love Lucy, so I chose I Love Lucy.
Yes.
And then the Mary Tyler Moore show, when it was in reruns, I was either A, not born, or B, just way too young to understand the mature, sophisticated humor of people in Minneapolis.
For me, it was always I wasn't bored enough. Like, I would watch an episode of Mary Tyler Moore, and before the episode was over, I was like, really? This used to be a hit show? I'm like, okay, I guess, this happened.
It was a product of its time. It was feminism, and it was a woman in the workplace, in the news place. And the original, when you listen to the theme song, we're gonna make it after all. It basically describes a divorce. But the censors wouldn't allow a woman to be divorced on television. Things have changed.
What a good theme to have on an anniversary show, divorce.
And so she had to be a single gal. She had to be a single gal in the big city, and she throws her hat up.
So did that girl.
Yes, but she was in New York City, a city people want to be with. Mary Tyler Moore was Minneapolis, right?
Yes.
You betcha.
Oh, you betcha.
Oh.
Okay. So whenever we watch Drop Dead Gorgeous, picture Mary Tyler Moore like looking over us and judging us.
I will admit, the first time I went to Minneapolis, I did have a hat, and I went to the center square and threw my hat in the air.
Oh, jeez. They probably have seen plenty of tourists do exactly just that, especially gay ones. They'll be like, yeah, that's a gay tourist right there.
Is there a statue of her downtown?
Yes.
Is she throwing her hat in the air?
Yes.
Yes.
It's in her hands because it's a statue, so they couldn't.
Yeah, they didn't have the technology to just do a see-through wire and then hat in the air.
That's astonishing.
Yes. Now, oddly enough, I did watch the 80s follow-up to the Mary Tyler Moore show called Mary, which was just...
bad?
It was really bad. It really was. It was tied with a show called Foley Square, and Foley Square was actually watchable, but if you blurred your eyes, both shows had the same plot.
Yeah, see, I'm not old enough to remember those.
But useless information is on the show Mary. There was a little-known backup singer that was making her acting kind of debut and getting some attention for her. Well, it wasn't her debut. She was in Columbo also. She was getting some attention, and because of the show Mary, she was sent to the audition, and she became Peg Bundy of Married to Children.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Katie Sagal was on the TV show Mary, and they got some attention. And the Married to Children show was supposed to be called The Slobs with Sam Kinison and Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, I was gonna say, weren't they gonna give it to Roseanne? I thought.
Yeah, they were wanting to give it to Roseanne Barr. I don't know why they didn't go with the Sam Kinison Roseanne Barr. Maybe they cost too much money.
Or maybe because Sam Kinison died.
Yeah.
He died in 86? Yeah. I thought he was still alive.
87.
87. It is a lot of, like, Roseanne Barr and Sam Kinison were difficult to work with. Sam Kinison had some substance abuse issues. Some of it could be they could make more money elsewhere. So they took the original idea and then retooled it. And when Katie Sagal got, like, from her agent, they want you to try out for this show. And they're like, you want Roseanne Barr? You're sending me? Even today, Katie Sagal's like, yeah, Katie Sagal's a good-looking woman. She's not a slob. So she just showed up with that handkerchief, and basically she played a low-class woman who thought she was high class, and that was Katie. That was Peg Bundy. I love Peg Bundy.
Oh yeah, Peg Bundy is absolutely fabulous. It
is. So Mary Tyler Moore, we'll miss you. She did this movie called Ordinary People in like 1980, I think, which kind of completely, unfortunately, destroyed her acting career because she was always playing the really nice, sweet person, and then in Ordinary People, she is like mean. She is a horrible, manipulative woman. She is on the level of Lori from Walking Dead, like a woman you just hope someone runs over with a car. Of course, Lori wrecked a car on an empty road while trying to read a map after the apocalypse. It's like, girl, you could pull over. Ain't no one gonna bother you. Why, they all dead, honey. They all dead.
That car behind you, there's no one in it.
There was no car.
There was no car. And the zombie was far, wasn't even in shot.
No, they couldn't afford a zombie in that scene, okay? She just wrecked the car because she's dumb. Oh. So we're going to take a break right now and play some more music on our anniversary. It's our anniversary. Dan, you didn't even talk that segment.
I don't know anything about TV. I really don't.
Do you know Mary Tyler Moore?
No, he doesn't.
Apparently not.
You are listening to Bottoms of the Barrel. I am your host, Thomas Bottoms. I'm joined in the studio with Mikey Chip, Dan, and Mike W. Hey! And this is a pre-recorded show. We recorded this on Wednesday, January 25th, 2017. We're airing this on Saturday, January 28th, 2017. And I feel I have to mention those dates because we've complained a lot about our president. And
not my president.
Not mine.
Nope.
And I won't lie. Donald Trump becoming president has inspired me to practice this free speech thing. And I have openly stated that if the man's assassinated, I'm not upset. And I may have to eat those words, but I don't think I'm the kind who's going to really apologize too much for this. So we're just going to keep going forward. But our topic, because it's our 1 year anniversary! Anniversary! Why, yes, that means there are now 52 episodes of Bottoms of the Barrel out there somewhere, somehow. I don't know where they're buried.
Not quite 52.
There's it's similar to like there's 64 episodes of a podcast I did called Shut That Bitch Up, which I really hope never ever sees the light of day.
Somebody must have shut her up because no one's ever heard it.
Yes. And that was done with my original co-host, Evan Sent, who has relocated. He may or may not come back, and he's always welcome back. But these things always go through growing pains. Rest in peace, Alan Thicke, and Robin Thicke's dead career in those blurred lines. Because we do go through growing pains. That's something I've always been curious about. Before the break, we were talking about Katie Sagal and Married to Children, and I love Married to Children. But there is, I guess, an original pilot episode that had different children. They didn't like whoever they originally cast as kids, and then they reshot the pilot with Christina Applegate and David Faustino, which, even though David Faustino's a midget, he did somehow pass as Katie Sagal's son. Like, there was some bizarre family resemblance.
I remember having a huge crush on him when I was a child.
Little David Faustino.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to be Christina Applegate. I can't lie.
Look at that. You actually became her.
I did. And whenever I need
her character, at least.
Maybe I need to get that tattooed, like with a Kelly Bundy emblem, like the one where she's in the red top and she's all like, ah! Like, maybe I need to get that put on my shoulder with if there's one thing I've learned as a Bundy, if you're gonna lose big.
See, I was thinking you were gonna get a tattoo of a tramp stamp that said easy access.
I always thought I'd get a tramp stamp that said, "Remember to tip your waitress."
Good advice.
Good advice. Now, I don't actually...
Enter here.
I remember one time on Facebook, there was this woman who had it on her, like, below, on her upper shoulders and on her lower back, and it said, like, "My name is Susan," or "My name is Carol," just in case you don't remember. Now, Dan,
Yes.
have you ever forgotten anyone's name before, after, and or during?
Wait, rephrase that question. There's so many ways to answer certain questions.
The woman had a tattoo of "My name is Susan."
Okay,
My
we
name
are still
is
on
Susan.
The tattoos. Okay,
Yes.
the answer is no.
You've always remembered everyone's name before, after, or during?
It's called good acting.
Well, sometimes you don't even know their name.
Exactly. That's why it's called good acting.
So we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary, and why do we celebrate anniversaries? What's the purpose of them? Did you guys put any thought into the homework? I know I sent you preliminary notes. I was hoping you would rehearse a little bit, come up with something to say, so it's not just me babbling on. I mean, Dan, I called you out. You didn't even speak the entire last segment, and you mentioned it's because you don't watch TV, and I'm okay with that, actually. I wish I watched a lot less TV. It just sucks me in. It really does. And you might learn what Thomas Bottoms does when he chooses not to watch TV but play music and have company.
It's almost the same difference, except for it's not like, oh, we're watching a movie. It's, oh, we're watching these boys while we listen to music in the background.
My ideal goal is to find shirtless men dancing, because I like to see that.
But somehow it always becomes askew somehow.
It really does, and sometimes it's odd. Like, you look at those wrestling pics, and it's like, oh my God, I can see what he ate for lunch through that leotard. Wow,
that's nice.
it is so see-through. And Mike W., you look at it, and you're just like, I know those positions.
Yeah, I ain't got no problem with that.
Dan, did you play sports? We have to sell you as the sexy one.
No. Well, I mean, that's what I'm here for.
That's what I'm here.
I have to say, this is a lot different than Ether Obscuria.
Did you really expect me to act like your co-host for Ether Obscuria?
No.
No, thank you. So, okay. All right, back to the topic at hand, because we're celebrating our anniversary. And I think it is good to have anniversaries because it reminds you of times when things were bad and things weren't good. I always like the joke that a comedian friend of mine tells Sadiq Samani. He is currently in New York City, I believe. Definitely support him. And he always had the joke of, we'll never forget September 11th. Like, knock, knock, who's there? September 11th. September 11th who? You said you'd never forget. He also has the one...
That's bad.
Like, we always look at the pictures of the towers coming down. Well, do we set anniversary and remembrances to, like, the time Bethany got raped in a back alley, and you photograph her vagina before and after, and things like that? It's like, at what point do we stop remembering, or do we need to remember, or do we even remember?
Well, and my viewpoint of it is if you're going to have an anniversary, why not have an anniversary about something positive? I mean, hey, this tragic, horrible thing happened, a few years ago. Let's all sit and remember it. I mean, why not let it be something that's happy? Do
we have happy moments in U.S. history? I'm sure Trump voters celebrate the Trail of Tears, but
not currently at the moment. But I mean, look at it this way:
we won World War II.
We only have 4 years, so that's something to look forward to, I guess.
If that,
yeah.
If that, and that's something that's we spoke a little bit about before. Is in the past, when a president has chosen his cabinet of who's going to run things, I always remember it being a fairly easy, fairly quick process. I guess there was...
That was back in the days before we had grizzly bears in schools.
Yes.
You're not familiar with this?
No, I'm not familiar with grizzly bears.
Yeah.
I am a city boy.
So you, Dan?
I'll go for it. So, Betsy DeVos, the nominee for Secretary of Education.
Yes.
They were asking her if they should have guns in schools. And her answer was, well, I want to defer to something that Senator Enzi from Wyoming said. What if they have to protect against grizzly bears?
In a Senate hearing, she said that.
Yes.
What?
So it's officially on the record in the Library of Congress.
That is worse than Meryl Streep thinking a dingo took my baby.
I mean, at
least dingoes are fast.
If it's a school way out in the sticks, up in the mountains of the woods,
In Alaska.
exactly, where that is something that I guess you could say could be prone to happen.
See, I went to college in Golden, Colorado, and I sometimes took like a Saturday class where class started at 8 a.m., 8 to 5, and I'd get there like 7:30. And so I'd go to the lunchroom and I'd look out the window, and there was one time, like I remember now, like it was a very beautiful moment where there was a doe, there might have been a buck, and then there was like two young
Well, that would have been a perfect moment to shoot them and kill
There were
them.
deer, yes, there were deer, and I did not have my gun to shoot through the window
Right
to
from
kill
your
them.
class. You're in the middle of math class. You look out the window, and oh my gosh, there is a buck that could be a trophy buck, but you don't have a gun in math class.
Have a gun, and
It's a sign from God.
Is it?
I grew up in Detroit. We already had guns in school. We were good. We didn't need any more.
what was
Before metal detectors.
What's interesting about this woman is that even though she's from Michigan, she's born rich, went to private school, married rich,
Married richer.
married richer, sent her children to private school,
And hasn't had a damn job in her life.
and now she's going to tell us how to raise our kids. In
Life
education.
is really hard.
You also have to factor in the fact that she's from Holland, Michigan, which is extremely ultra-right religious.
Holland, Michigan was named Holland, Michigan because the Netherlands said, you guys are stick in the muds and you need to go.
Yeah.
And they sent them to Michigan.
They had a fit when Meyer started opening up on Sundays.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
May I kneel before him. And we're going to take a break. And you are listening to Bottoms of the Barrel. I am your host, Thomas Bottoms. I am joined in the studio by my partner in crime, Mikey Chip. I also have with me Dan
Hello.
from Ether Obscuria. How do they listen to Ether Obscuria, by the way?
We're on the ether, yes. We're kind of pirate radio, so we're a little bit hidden, but you can find us on Demonoid. You used to be able to find us on Tangled Up in Torrents, but they're no longer there. We're around.
Okay, and I'm also joined with Mike W.
Hello.
A partner in crime that he's bringing the sexy back.
All the way.
All the way. And before the break, we were talking about public education and actually guns in school. And in a bizarre twist of fate, I was working at a hotel in Overland Park, Kansas, when the Columbine shooting happened in the late 90s. And there were some people from... I don't want to single out Arkansas, but they were from the South. There was 4 guys traveling together. They all had separate rooms, which is great for business. Don't get us wrong, because men aren't men and men don't share beds. But when they were hearing the announcements of how many people had been killed, and something that's really forgotten is the media and the school said more people were murdered than they actually were. And after they all 4 checked in, and they were briefly pausing and watching the news, and we were all, normally we didn't have the news playing. We felt this was a national tragedy, so we had the news playing. They were like, well, if Colorado had conceal and carry, that situation would end differently. And I can't help but think like, yeah, school shootouts. That is a brilliant idea. I love that idea.
That would have ended really messy.
Oh yeah. I understand the need for the Second Amendment. What people don't seem to get is not everything is white and not everything is black. Like if you own a gun, you're responsible with it, you like to hunt, and your favorite thing to hunt is deer, that's fine. But if you own a gun and your favorite thing to hunt is man, we might have an issue.
I have a problem with needing a fully automatic gun. I mean, are you going to war or are you hunting deer? What kind of deer are you shooting that you need a fully automatic gun?
Apparently, you're a horrible shot.
Apparently so.
And you need to go to gun school so you can learn how to shoot a damn gun.
I bought a fully automatic just so I could just pull the trigger and just spray all over the place and just hope that one of them hits it.
It's compensation.
That sounds like Donald Trump sex. Just spray all over. I'll conceive somewhere.
No.
And it's true. It's like, do you really need that high-powered of a weapon to hunt down an animal that you're able to hunt legally? And
I can understand the right for wanting it. And I get the right to have it, but at the same time, I don't understand why you need it. If there's a logical explanation other than just the simple fact of you're just simply collecting guns because you have nothing else better to do,
it makes you feel like a man.
Then, hey, I have other things that make me feel like a man. It kind of lies between my legs. So
some men aren't well as equipped as you are, and thus they have to get an extra rod.
Well,
I guess apparently so.
Some are trans and they don't have one.
Exactly.
Do they carry guns?
About trans, apparently someone I dated like 7 years ago, is now transitioning, and I never knew. I wish him well. I really do.
You mean her?
I wish her well. Thank you. She is very dark skinned and has a light white blonde wig and likes to wear red sweaters. So she has escaped to Canada.
I'm loving it.
And she likes to wear her pink lipstick.
Go girl.
And more power to you. I do appreciate that power and that freedom to just throw yourself out there and be that person. But back to gun control. Like, I don't own a gun, which I probably need to go out and buy one now because I'm certain I will disappear one day under the Trump regime. Watch me disappear. Donald Trump took me. I said it here. Wednesday, January 25th, 2017. But the reason I don't...
Not if we seek political asylum in Germany first.
That's correct.
Take me with you.
Every woman, every man, join the caravan to Germany. Now, there is something ironic about escaping to Germany to get away from a fascist state. Can I just say there's some irony there? That's a bit odd.
We've gone full circle.
Isn't that true?
Germany's going to save democracy this time. How ironical is that?
Well, they tore down their wall. Now we're building walls.
There you go.
I never thought of that, but it's like, is this East Berlin versus West Berlin? Like, are they building walls, and are we just stopping Mexico? And
no, this is Weimar Germany versus Nazi Germany.
Go ahead and explain to our listeners what that means.
Weimar Germany is the German Republic before 1933, when a certain A. Hitler came into power. And Nazi Germany is, well, you might know who A. Hitler is. And when he was in power and the things he did.
That's true. Hitler had a very pronounced mustache, while Trump just has a horrible weave. He really does. I don't know what that dead animal is on his skin, on his head.
It didn't deserve to die and have that fate.
It deserved a better fate. But that is something that versus Germany, where the central city was Berlin and the biggest city. The United States is 50 states. 2 of our states are offshore. And while Trump may want to send troops to Chicago, I think that's because we're the 3rd largest and he wants to make an example.
There's also the potential cause of that when he was Rahm Emanuel made the public statement where Trump should start focusing on jobs instead of the size of his inauguration crowd.
Oh, yes.
This man is going to make me support Rahm Emanuel.
Isn't that sad?
Damn him.
I don't understand why he's so fixated and worried about that. I mean, that should give evidence enough to
so
everybody that's here in the United States that he's not serious.
He's a narcissist, and anytime you challenge a narcissist and make them, they think they're the best in the world, and they think everyone should tell them, that person, that they're the best in the world. So we're currently telling him he's not the best in the world.
No.
The image of...
I do want to also add, since we are getting low on time, you want to make some changes, start calling your Congress members, your senators, every day. Tell them your thoughts. You need to be in their district so they know you're one of their voters. Most of the time, they only hear from the Republicans and the right wing.
Everyone needs to speak up.
You need to start calling your emails and Facebook likes mean nothing. You need to call them. You need to fax them. You need to write them letters.
Show up at their office.
Yes. You show up at the local office. If you're one of their constituents, they got to talk to you. So you need to start doing that. That is one way to start getting involved and to start getting rid of the Trump administration. Maladministration.
Now, was there any resolution for Paul Ryan? Because I know at some point his office stopped taking calls. He stopped listening to his people after helping vote. 20 million people would lose their health care.
There's 434 other members of Congress.
Just contact them all.
Contact
your
representatives and senators. Because you matter to them because you're a voter.
And it's been a mild winter so far, so if you have the opportunity to go protest, go join one. Join one.
There's going to be a scientist protest coming up soon.
Yeah, I just heard about that.
The scientist protest?
The government scientists that are being muzzled are about to start protesting.
He has the biggest disapproval rating in, I guess, history.
Isn't that really pathetic?
That should speak.
And
it should speak volumes. I mean, to the United States.
5 days in office, he has a 35% of
yeah.
And something I also saw is that he's still upset that Hillary Clinton had the popular vote. She had 2.8 million more votes than he did, and he's saying that's voter fraud. I'm wondering if this is going to be a situation where he pushes the issue and ends up shooting himself in the foot, because I'm sure fraud took place, but it wasn't for her benefit. It was for his.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just such a mess.
It's a mess. So, happy anniversary.
Yay.
Last year I was the one saying, stop saying Hillary Clinton's so horrible. Stop saying Hillary Clinton's so horrible. Well, everyone said she was horrible and she lost. Thank you. And now we have Trump. So I hope everyone's happy. Happy anniversary. I extend my fingers to you. This has been Bottoms of the Barrel. We're here every Saturday.